Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel and to a follow-up from last night's video. So we did Net Results Soccer 101 yesterday, and I told you I'd leave some things out, and I did. And then there was a couple other things I wanted to add to just add to what the discussion was. So I'm going to do Net Results Soccer 201. But first, I'm sporting Manchester United today, my dirty Manchester United hat. They got a big game tomorrow, and I'm sure will drive all their fans crazy, but that's the way they are and the way they play. So a few of the discussions that came up after the first video and led me to realize that there's some things I still needed to talk about, a couple of the ratings that I didn't cover yesterday, and then a few other issues. So this one will be a lot shorter. The first thing I wanted to talk about was a few of the ratings I didn't discuss, and that is the asterisks and the CT. So defenders that can have an asterisk after their defense rating usually won't be a 1, but I mean, it doesn't matter. Whatever the defense rating is, it's a 1 star, 10 star, 18 star, whatever it is. If that player is the defensive player on a shot attempt check, so I roll and Nunez here is the defender, and I roll a 1 and he does a shot, he stops the shot attempt from happening, that asterisk means that his team keeps possession on the next roll. So really it's like a shot attempt stop turnover is really what that equates to. So that's for players that their tackles and interceptions don't fall within the normal ratings, that gets added to them. Same for fouls. So the foul rating, 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, whatever it is, if there's a foul check against that player, so a player rolls and they roll a foul 3. So a foul 3 and Nunez is the player to do the check on. Since he's a 1, it's not a foul, and because he has the star, it's now a turnover. So foul check / turnover if they have that asterisk. His team keeps possession. The last one is the CT. So where the card rating is, sometimes you're going to see a CT. And that is going to be a similar type fashion. So on Nunez, hold on, we have dogs again. I'll be right back. I watch a lot of Dave Gardner videos, and he has Studio B. I'm thinking of calling this place Studio D for my dogs because they like to hang out with me when I'm doing these. So anyways, the CT. So if Nunez is the defender and the roll is in his defensive range, a 68 to 76 will be a card. So just like a shot, just like a penalty, just like an offsides, that range, the full numbers get in there, 68 to 76. On a roll of a 77, a 1 to 8 will be a card, but a 9 or a 10 will end up being a tackle or takeaway. So basically it's a card with a chance for a turnover, and if it falls outside of their card range within that last roll, that last rating, then it becomes a turnover. Their team keeps possession. So those are the 3 ratings that I did not discuss yesterday, and I wanted to bring that in and kind of discuss what those mean if you run across those. The other question was discussing possession and how the different ratings for possession are in the game. So I updated this file on the website, on the custom card sets thread on the Delphi forum, and this is basically a list of the changes of the rules or the changes of the settings I put on my cards versus what David has on his. So first thing we're going to talk about is possession, and you can download that and see it. I explain it there, but I'm going to discuss it here. The rules for the game state a 1 to 11 is possession for the home team, and a 12 to 20 is for the away team. And that's straight up, that's the rule. What I have done is, in playing the game and realizing that I think the home teams underperform, especially good home teams, underperform some, and the away teams overperform some. And really, you're looking at this and saying a team like Manchester City or Arsenal, whoever, they don't lose at home, but they get the same possession number as Luton Town or Sheffield Wednesday or Sheffield United or whatever it is. So what I did is say, okay, or maybe I'm doing the MLS set, and MLS traditionally has much better performance by their home teams than the away teams. So what I started doing is creating a league possession number. So on the sets that I create, I don't have that up, but on the sets I create, I'll have a possession number there, and it's going to be anywhere from typically a 10.5 to a 12. That's going to be the possession number you can use instead of the 11. So dog's making noise. So that will be the possession number you'll use instead of an 11. So if let's say, for example, the league possession number is 11.5. For the first half, it's going to be an 11, but that 11.5, that 0.5 gets addressed in the second half. So the first half, the home team's an 11. The second half, there'll be a 12. Hold on one second. Studio D strikes again. So anyways, back to possession. So yeah, the first one is 1 to 11. The second one is that league rating. Everybody gets that same rating because home teams perform better than road teams or whatever it is. During COVID, that home possession went down because the home teams didn't do as well. So that's a league-based possession number that everyone will get. If it has a 0.5, that 0.5 is addressed in the second half. What I just started doing is what you'll see on the RB Leipzig card here. I did it to the Bundesliga set. I think I did it to the MLS set. I'm adding a possession rating for each team. So what you'll see here is the home rating and then the away adjustment. So for this team, RB Leipzig is a 12.5 at home. And if they were playing against themselves, it'd be a -1. So it'd be a 12.5 -1 is 11.5 home possession for that game. So you will take the home team's possession rating and add or subtract the away teams. You're going to get some big swings here. So this is new. This is new. I've been trying it out. Sorry, my camera just closed. Been trying it out, trying to see how this works. But I played, honestly, just a couple test games in this. In the test games, the average amount of open rolls, that means rolls where you check that possession number, was 117. So all the other rolls are going to be free kicks or corner kicks or aerial battles or turnovers or whatever. All those things combined take away a whole bunch of the rolls that happen. P stars, P pluses, all those things. And we're left with, on average, 117 open rolls. So of those 117, basically what it comes down to is each half a point of possession ends up being about 6 rolls. So a 1 to 11 is the normal standard, and that should be 55% of the open rolls go to the home team. If it was a 1 to 11.5, then you would end up getting about 6 more rolls for the home team than the away team based on that adjustment. So a 1 to 12 is about 12 rolls. So it's not a huge factor, but it is a factor that lets you help try to isolate that home and away percentage and how well the teams do. So really that's it. So those are the 3 ways you can do possession. I'm going to leave that in. I also am going to leave those instructions on the changes. You can choose to play however you want. I know this is where David and I disagree some. He does the 1 to 11. Doesn't mess with the possession number much, and I understand his reasoning why. The cards are based a certain way. I get it. If you give the good teams that perform well more possession at home, then they should overperform. I understand that, and I'm just playing with this. It may be wonky, maybe all out of whack. So, but that's just an option, and it is there. So, however you want to do it, that's up to you. I'm right now currently the games I'm playing using this new format. So the other things, other changes that I do from the game. Actually, I want to bring up this. Why is an 11 always a corner? And I'm sure you asked that, or you may wonder it, or maybe you don't wonder it, but why is an 11 always a corner? When I first started playing the game, I was searching through all the Delphi forums, and I think there was a 1 for 5 website that used to do video game or board game reviews, sports board game reviews and seasons and replays and all that. It's not available anymore, but they had a roller, and I think this was their roller. On that roller, if you make it, if an 11 comes up, I'll just change it manually, that plus minus was there. And so when I first started playing the game, and this was the very first roller that I started using, that was there. What does that mean? So again, back on the changes to the game rules, I have this plus minus optional rule that's here. It's optional. You don't have to do it. It doesn't do anything, but it does give the feel of a team that has momentum or has the mojo that day. So looking at the rule, different positions get different bonuses when that plus minus comes up. If you roll an 11, so let's go back to this roller just for an example. If you roll an 11 and the possession roll is an odd number, then the offensive player gets a bonus, a plus in his plus minus. If you roll an 11 and the possession number is a even number, then that player gets a negative to their plus minus. Okay, simple enough. You have a plus minus, a player's feeling it or not feeling it, however that works. The points that I give, and this was back, I think, David's original suggestion. He does a little bit different now, but this was the original suggestion. Giving defenders and defensive mids more of an impact in the game, you do this. So they're plus 5. Mids are 4. Mids are plus 3. Forwards are plus 2. If you're pulling away, they roll that 11 with a even number on possession, then it will only subtract 1. It's always a subtraction of 1, no matter what. How this comes into play, again, going back to the possession number. The way I do this, again, to give a home team more of an advantage. If the home team has a higher plus minus than the away team, they get a 1-point bonus in the possession. And that's it. So let's say the possession is 1 to 11. The home team gets a 11, a corner kick. It's odd. Now they're a plus. That's odd. Now they're a plus 4, plus 5, whatever it is. They're ahead of the away team. Their possession now becomes a 12. That's for the home team. For the away team, I say that they have to be 2 points ahead to get that 1-point bonus. So for example, I roll, and let's just do a roll here. There. I get an 11. Possession number is even, and the home team gets the ball. They now get a -1. That -1 will not reduce the possession number for the home team. It would for the away team, because if the home team's ahead by 1 or more, they get it. But the away team has to be ahead by 2 or more. And that's it. That's the plus minus rule. Other things I do with the plus minus or possession. Red cards. Red cards is another thing that is played out in the game. And how do you do it? And there are different ways to play this out. For the first thing, when a player has a yellow, and their rating is a yellow only. So if I go back to look at these, he's a yellow star. But let's say it was just a yellow. The player has gets a yellow card. Sometime later in the game, they get another yellow. The rules, I think, state that you add, so the player can get a second yellow if the roll, the check roll is between a 1 and 10, and you add 1 for every 2 minutes. So let's say he gets a yellow card in the 10th minute, and now we're in the 25th minute. Every 2 minutes, let's say it's the 30th minute. That's 10. So on a 1 and 10, he's going to get a second yellow. And so that, I don't know if I'm explaining this where you can understand it, but that's how it works. So what I did, there were too many red cards, too many second yellows. I changed that and changed it and changed it and changed it to where I'm at now, where I say if a player is a yellow, that's their rating, no yellow star, and they get a yellow card. Their second check of a yellow card, you have to add 20 minutes from when that original yellow happened to just get 1, the chance to be 1 for a second yellow. So really, realistically, in a game, that the highest chance a player will get is 4. I've done 5, I've done 10, I've done 15, and my red cards always come out too high. So right now, with my latest iteration, I'm on 20. So Nunez rolls a card, gets a card in the 30th minute. His second yellow rating is a 0 from the 31st minute to the 50th minute. Then it gets to 1. And then the 70th minute, it turns to 2. And the 90th minute, it turns to 3. His chances of getting a second yellow are slim. They're there. It's possible, but it's very slim. So every 20 minutes, I add 1. A yellow star player, the rule is when you get that second check, a 1 to 10 is always a second card. And then 11 to 20, you add every 2 minutes to get that. Again, too many cards. There's some guys that have a lot of cards, and they had 1 second yellow, and they're getting beat up. They're getting beat up, getting a lot of red cards. So I changed that. The way I do with a yellow star is the first card comes out. The player then starts at a 1, no matter what. He's on a 1. Every 5 minutes, I add another 1. So 5 minutes later, he's at a 2, then a 3, 10 minutes, a 4, 15 minutes, a 5, throughout the game. And so, yeah, it does a little bit of math. You got to figure out how many minutes are the difference between the two, but it lowers the amount of chances for that second yellow. And that's just one of the things that I've done from experience and played out. But when a player gets back to possession, when a player gets a red card, I think I said it yesterday, add 2 to the possession. So the possession is 1 to 11, red card against the away team, now it's 1 to 13. And at the second yellow, I add 3 more. I will go all the way up to 1 to 18 if I have to with all the adjustments. I won't go above 18, but that just feels right to me. And again, you can play that however you want to play that. I also have done in the past, let's see if I can find this. Somebody asked me to come up with all the house rules I have. One of them used to be and that question did come up. Do subs get a bonus? Do subs get a bonus? I use that plus minus to give subs a bonus. If a player subs in the 60th minute to the 74th minute, they get a plus 1. So that plus minus rating for that player starts at a plus 1. If the player comes in the 75th minute and on, they get a plus 2. So that means they're fresher than everybody else. They get a plus 1 or a plus 2 for their team. It might affect, and it does oftentimes, it plays out onto who has that possession advantage. All of that being said, on my plus minus, the only change I will make for a team is either up or down 1. I won't go more than that. Red cards are different, but I will only change that possession number by 1 either way. That's that. Other things that have come into play, let's see, what have we talked about? That's why I talked about the 11, why I always do an 11 as a corner, because that plus minus rating, and the original roller, the OG roller. We talked about the 1 to 100s and the tackles and combining those. Let's see, what else? One of the things I was doing because of playing real life lineups, real life subs, I was penalizing players, I wouldn't take them out when they fail an endurance check, but if they did fail an endurance check, I would make them a -1. I still do that. I make them a -1, or I'll make them a -2 if they fail the endurance check twice, or 3 times, or 4 times, whatever. I'll change their plus minus. But I was also reducing their shot number. So if they had a shot attempt, if they'd failed 1 endurance check, maybe on a 1 to 17 was a shot, 18 to 20 wouldn't be. Just requires another check. Just changing some of the ratings around a little bit, and I realized those changes were affecting goal scoring too much. So players would get fatigued in my game and the goal scoring would go down. So I took those out. My goal scoring was always low. And so those I no longer play with. I do still do the plus minus though with the possession. That's really the one thing I can play with that I'm okay with doing. It gives me the feel of momentum. It gives me the feel that this team is actually playing well or has control of the game. And I like that feel, I like how it feels. I think that's pretty much it. I know I'm probably missing stuff, but I did update that. I uploaded that file, the changes file, and you'll see that. I did talk about the home possession. That was a big one. I talked about those ratings that we missed. I talked about the plus minus rule and why an 11's a corner. As always, if you guys have questions, ask away, and I'll be there to answer. David will answer, and I love the interaction we've had the last week or two with the game. It feels exciting to me, just that we're getting some traction a little bit. And I don't, you guys play away, play, and let me know how you like it. It's exciting to me that other people are enjoying the game. But as I said, that's it. A little shorter video today. If you have questions, reach out. I will help you guys out, and otherwise, I will talk to you on the next video. Have a good night.